Recently I read a book that I loved called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, and something stuck out to me right in the first few pages. This quote, he said, "Service is black and white, but hospitality is color." That's what we're going to be talking about today on this episode of With Purpose. I think we can all picture in our mind what that feels like. We've all been at maybe the coffee shop when we order something quick and then they flip the screen around and they ask for a 35% tip. Or we've all been at a restaurant or maybe a department store or somewhere else where we felt truly heard, seen, and taken care of. And we experienced the difference in service, which feels like a transaction, and hospitality, which feels more like a relationship. There is a ton of stories that Will shares about his experience starting and growing a restaurant in New York City from a great place to literally the best restaurant in the world. It's a really fun book to read because of all the stories that I think most of us can relate to because we understand what eating looks like. We might not understand what eating at the best restaurant in the world feels like or looks like, but we can understand this. It's the little stories along the way that stuck out to me the most. And the most impactful one in the book, I think, is about a hot dog. So a group of people come into Will's restaurant and they are on their way out of town. They have come to New York City as a group of friends to experience all that it had to offer, all the sights and sounds, as well as restaurants. And so they were recounting all of the great places that they had eaten along the way. And their server overheard them say, "We didn't ever get to try one of the hot dogs from the carts that you see all around New York City." And so this registered for that server and for Will. And so at the best restaurant in the world, or almost the best restaurant in the world at the time, they took a couple dollars and went outside and bought one of the hot dogs. They called them dirty water dogs in New York City parlance. And brought that in, convinced their chef to plate it up and slice it into bite-sized pieces and make it look pretty like you would expect in a fine dining establishment, and then serve that to that group of friends. Can you imagine the delight and surprise on their face when they're sitting at this restaurant and somebody overheard what they had said, but then did something about it, and the stories that they will tell about that for years to come. That whole thing cost that restaurant $2 or $3, but it changed the entire experience of that group of diners there. That's what unreasonable hospitality looks like. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It can be simply listening and caring and recognizing that people are people and that businesses do transactions with people, but really it's about building a relationship with our customers.